Good day, here are today's top stories from the Pna Headlines. The Commission on Elections credits the innovations introduced to benefit voters towards the success of the recently concluded midterm elections. In a press briefing, Comelec Chair George Garcia cited how voters relied on early voting and mall voting to cast their votes with comfort and ease. The early voting feature allowed senior citizens, persons with disabilities, pregnant women, and other vulnerable sectors to cast their votes as early as 5 a.m. Earlier, Comelec spokesperson John Rex Laudianco said among the innovations implemented were the provision of special headphones for PWD voters with sensory difficulties. Accessible voting centers were also set up in coordination with the National Commission on the Indigenous Peoples for voters in far-flung IP communities. Garcia said 311 automated counting machines encountered problems but assured these did not disrupt the voting process. He also said there would be a continuation of elections on Tuesday in 15 precincts in the country where ACMs did not accept ballots due to unclear timing marks. At the same time, the poll body chief reported about 44 incidents of election-related violence, which was fewer as compared to the last two elections. Meanwhile, Garcia assured that there were no irregularities in the reported delay of the election data transmission to the transparency server of the Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting, or PPCRV. He assured that the Municipal Board of Canvassers, Comelec, and the PPCRV share one source of election return results, and any transmitted and received results will be the same despite delays. The PPCRV said they lost access to the data of the election results from its server about an hour after the elections, but they were able to access it an hour later. In a separate report, Garcia noted that the poll body only releases the unofficial results per precinct as part of transparency and official canvassed results. The Parish Pastoral Council for Responsible Voting, or PPCRV, says Filipinos have shown eagerness to vote in the 2025 midterm elections, as indicated by the long queue of voters since early Monday morning. PPCRV spokesperson Ana Singson said people came to polling precincts early with lines building up until 8 a.m. She said Filipinos were encouraged to vote as early as they could out of excitement to participate in the elections. Singson commended the Commission on Elections for introducing efforts to streamline the transmission of election results. She cited technological improvements in data transmission, including 5G connectivity and the deployment of over 10,000 Starlink terminals across the country. She also commended the Comelec for ensuring transparency on election day. The PPCRV likewise said the midterm elections were peaceful compared to previous polls. Singson said that initial observations suggest fewer violent disruptions this year than in 2022 and 2019. Singson, however, expressed worry over Mindanao as an area of concern, despite the lesser incidence of violence and fewer number of deaths. She mentioned the incidents in Sinsuat, Basilan that left 4 people dead while others were injured, which prompted the PPCRV to pull out its volunteers. She also reported that members of the Electoral Board in Cotabato stepped down out of fear for their lives and were replaced with military personnel. The Philippine National Police says the 2025 midterm elections are generally peaceful and orderly, but it will remain on guard throughout the rest of the electoral process. PNP Chief General Romel Francisco Marbil said he had instructed all units to make arrests against elements who would dare to create trouble. Marbil said the PNP's intensified operations do not end after the voting process, saying another crucial part of the polls is the canvassing of votes. He said the PNP's 163,000 policemen, backed by over 200,000 enforcers from other agencies, will continue to be on watch until the canvassing of votes is completed. PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Jean Fajardo reported technical glitches and power interruptions were reported in some parts of Central Luzon, Northern Mindanao, Davao, and the Cordillera Administrative Region. As of 4 p.m. on Monday, 4 people died while 12 others were injured in gun attacks and other violent incidents. The PNP also arrested 221 people for violating the liquor ban and 19 others for vote buying and selling. In our business news, oil companies slashed fuel prices a day after the midterm elections. In separate advisories, Sea Oil and Shell decreased gasoline prices by 30 centavos per liter, 90 centavos per liter in diesel prices, and 1.25 pesos per liter on kerosene prices. This is the second consecutive week that local industry players rolled back fuel prices. Earlier, the Department of Energy Oil Industry Management Bureau said oil prices are expected to drop this week as the OPEC Plus countries prepare to ramp up output next month, even as the uncertainties due to the United States tariff policy continue to dampen demand. Meanwhile, power demand across the Philippines dropped on Monday, also Election Day and a special non-working holiday. The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, or NGCP, reported a normal power situation across the grids of Luzon, the Visayas, and Mindanao. All transmission lines and facilities across the three major island grids were also operating normally. The NGCP previously said it suspended all maintenance activities to ensure enough power throughout the voting, canvassing, and proclamation process. Earlier, the Department of Energy assured the country has enough power supply for the midterm elections. And that's the latest and the biggest stories on the PNA headlines. For more news updates, visit our website, pna.gov.ph, or our Facebook and Dex account, Philippine News Agency. The PNA Headlines is also streamed via the Servicio Facebook page. You may also watch the PNA Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under PNA News. I am Marita Moahed. This is the PNA Headlines, bringing stories that unite the nation.